What's up, everyone? Champets back again for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC London, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. A big matchup in the welterweight division, along with many other great fights, as always with the UFC. I'm super excited for this matchup earlier in the day, which I do prefer. So, always gonna love that. And yeah, let's get right into it. But first, we always go over what happened last week and how we did. Pretty good. So we just go over it one by one by the order of the card. Carly Judy's. Oh, Carly Judy's my beloved. I love this girl so much. I pretty much backed her ever since I saw her Dana White Contender Series fight against Ernesta Carrasqueta. This is one of the biggest bets I've ever placed, and I feel rightfully so. I everything I said was exactly on point. I knew this Dubin girl just was not it, and this was the time to bet against her big, because if Judy's did what I thought she was, and I bet inside the distance for a reason. There's a reason I didn't do 2-3. I was like, it could happen. It could. This might be over earlier than expected. Judy smoked her so bad. I mean, actually, to be fair, Dubin looked all right considering, but again, it was just a complete levels thing. It's a complete levels difference. And she's not gonna be no plus 200 from here on. She's gonna be like plus at least 400, 500 or more. She got exposed bad by Carly Judy's. Carly Judy's is that girl. She has a future in this division. She's fought really good girls and arguably could be undefeated. 4-1 in my opinion. I thought Ernesta won. I thought Judy's beat Fernandez. Besides the point, Carly Judy's is that girl. Now on the map after that one. Very, very happy for her. Her records is deceiving. She is really good. Still green. Still needs time to get better. Give her good matchups going forward. Get her better. I love it. So yeah, shout out Carly Judy's. This biggest bet of the year. Made me feel good. My next bet I had was, what was it? Was it Lima? Although, no. It was okay. It was this one: Josiane Nunes versus Priscilla Cachoeira. I bet. I told you guys what I did like last time. I said I was gonna bet fight ends by KO, as like that's what I want. But I also had like, as if it somehow does go the distance, I had fight goes to decision, like decision only Cachoeira, and if it ends in the distance, it voids. Because I was thinking if it finishes, it's gonna be either one of them. It's gonna end by KO, and it goes for both sides. And if it doesn't end like a KO, goes to decision, I'm gonna leave Cachoeira, because I don't know how she lives to a decision if someone gets KO'd. And man, Cachoeira killed Josiane Nunes. One of the best women's KOs I've ever seen. Beautiful uppercut, put Nunes out. Thing of beauty. I'm very proud of myself making that bet, because I think that was like a really, really sharp way to approach betting that fight, as opposed to just picking one side. Yeah, Cachoeira looked good. I like her at bantamweight, especially in a division where it's like not many good fighters, to be genuinely honest, sadly. Next bet I had Lima inside the distance, but I parlayed that with Mousasi to get like a KO, so that didn't hit. But I want to talk about Lima. Lima looked amazing. Beautiful submission. And rounds 1 and 2, he's absolutely picking Bades apart. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, he looked fantastical. Yeah, not much more to say. Lima looked amazing. Then the next fight was probably that one, the Mousasi one, or was it Sampage? Let's just talk about Mousasi real quick. I went with Mousasi KO because I thought that was like the most likely thing, but I parlayed it because I don't have enough trust in this guy to do anything to like justify putting a lot on it. And like, as you can see, I put like 0.1 on Lima Mousasi, and there's another one. 0.2 on Blackshear Mousasi. I wasn't even like that confident in Mousasi, but I want to have a little play on it. And yeah, That head kick from Vera, I literally could not see. I never would have saw that coming. And yeah, that basically led into the sequence of getting subbed. Musasa getting subbed. I mean, fair play, fair play. Very glad I didn't play no freaking money line. That guy was no lock. I just like I want his KO. That's the best condition. If you want go some decision, props to Vera. But I didn't. Should have played the under, but I'm not gonna complain too much. I didn't put too much on that. Not a great bet though. Sam Page. Sam Hughes, Luciano. I had a very, very small bet on betting that tips track, but I bet Sam Page live. I had a not as great number as this one. I bet here. I bet at like plus, what was it? It was like plus 125 or 115. It was something like that where it's like, okay, Sam Page is having way more success early than I ever thought she would have. And so I was like, and if this is happening, if Sam Page is having success early, that doesn't mean well for Luciano. And to be fair to Luciano, wasn't end of the world. She was able to win round 3 in my opinion. I was like, wow, okay, her gas tank is pretty good. But Sam Page, I thought rounds 1 and 2. Round 2 pretty freaking clear. Like it was, well, Sam Page almost got the finish, which is pretty crazy. But props to Luciano being able to survive that. I think it was just a veteran teaching, and I think Luciano is going to be really good from here. I like Luciano as a prospect, and I hope people start downing her because you lose to Sam Page. Sam Page is just really good. People have to admit that. She beat Amarim. She just beat Luciano. Those wins are going to age fantastic, in my opinion. So, shout out to the Sam Page. Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann's next one. This was bad. What was Ryan Spann doing? He didn't even try kicking that much. I don't know why. He didn't try wrestling that much. I don't know why. So he's just trying to box mainly with Waldo, which I did think he had a chance of doing so, but ultimately wasn't able to. He ultimately was not able to box with Waldo because of that, just throwing that air, missing, got gassed bad. It was not a good look from Spann. Didn't look good at all. I should have just played like a round 1 prop and just let that be it with how that fight went. But it is what it is. Spann didn't look that great. Next fight I had a bet on was Blackshear. Was Blackshear to win? I parlayed him a bunch because the number was pretty nasty. I didn't want to eat that much chalk, but I'm like very confident he was gonna win. So I was like, I decided to parlay him up a little bit with some of the bets I had. Oh my god, Blackshear tried to give me a heart attack early. I don't know what the hell he was doing against Gibson early. Like he needed to get woken up. I was like, oh my god, dude, Blackshear's about to get finished round 1. What is going on? Thankfully, found his wits about him and started fighting much better. Thought he dropped round 1, but as the fight went on, it was the Blackshear show. He looked good, made me proud. Go man, Blackshear, don't do that again. I'm not betting you at a big price like this anymore because of like that. Maybe because of stuff like that. Maybe I'll live bet you for more often, but that's not happening again. Oh, I think I just skipped the fight actually. But yeah, Blackshear, beautiful Kimura. And by the way, I'll talk about the other Kimura. I was so right about that guy DR not being good. And I'm happy I didn't fall for anything like that. Anyways, Choi versus Vallejos. I had 2 bets on this fight. I had Vallejos to win in rounds 1 and 2, and I had Choi to win in rounds 3 or decision. Because I thought if this fight somehow goes long, Choi's in it at the very least. He's in it at the very least. But I had 1 unit on Vallejos rounds 1 and 2 because I was pretty confident it was gonna happen, and that's what happened. Vallejos got the round 1 KO. Choi's chin is just, it's not there anymore. It makes me sad. I love Choi, but yeah, it just wasn't there. And down after that, I had Chidi and Joe Kawani to beat Dos Santos, ZDS. Man, this is a great bet. I love me some Chidi and Joe Kawani, especially at welterweight. I think this guy is really good at welterweight, and I think he can do some stuff. I do think it's still true that maybe he's not necessarily like he'll quit and stuff like that, but with the hardware he has, he can beat a lot of dudes. But yeah, I had a cheating Joe Kawani money line. Also bet, and I thought this was pretty sharp too for me. In Joe Kawani minus 3.5, not plus 3.5, even though he's underdog, minus 3.5. And I think you can get away with that with in Joe Kawani at welterweight, because if he's gonna winning these fights, he's gonna have to be dominating. I think, because again, he's gonna quit otherwise. And I'm not necessarily sure if that's necessarily true the case, but I was like, I think if he's gonna win, he's gonna probably win dominantly, and that's exactly what he did here. I mean, he got caught pretty badly at one point, took a while afterwards, able to recover. But otherwise, it's all the cheating. It was the Njokuani show. Great work by Njokuani. He looked great, knee beautiful. And then the last one, I had Vittori in a parlay with Blackshear. I didn't want to. Yeah, like I had a bet on Vittori. It's like I don't like these odds enough, because I know like live I'm probably be able to get something better, and I did bet him live, sadly. So I ended up parlaying with Blackshear, and man, Vittori, it was bad. I'm not even sure if it was like really like the shoulder thing. I mentioned the shoulder thing, but I thought, like, I literally said is like, even with the shoulder injury, I think he'll be fine. I think his shoulder was fine, to be honest, and like it just was a bad performance. He didn't look good. I thought it was 3-2 Delizzi. I thought Vittori won rounds 1 and 3. That run 1 off of volume, round 3 off of hurting Delizzi. But it was just pretty tragic of Vittori to be getting outworked by Delizzi. Didn't even try really pushing too much of a pace on Delizzi. I couldn't believe it. It's just, if he doesn't have the pace or whatever, I don't know really what much he has in the UFC unless he can wrestle dudes. So that was not a great look. So yeah, he let ATT down there, but it is what it is. But yeah, still did really good on the night. Feels good. Hoping we can keep that going with this one this week. And now I'm just gonna switch over to Tapology and go over the rest of the fights that I didn't talk about. Just real quick, I did pretty good picks wise on the card, 9 and 13. That's pretty good. Talked about that one. 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 I didn't talk about this one. Su Young Yu versus AJ Cunningham. You look good. It was just Cunningham was there to be grappled. I kind of like. I didn't hate the game plan Cunningham had, where he was trying to be patient or whatever, because I thought if he wasn't patient, he'd get smoked even worse. He'd get taken down easier and it'd be over pretty quickly. But yeah, it was just it's just complete levels difference. Sung Young Yu looked good. Not much more to say there. Talk about this one. Oh my god. DR looked horrible. This guy is not it. He's just not it. Knocked down by Hibero, not able to throw much. I mean, maybe it was the weight cut, but it's like I didn't even try for that. Constant twitching. I don't know, and I'm assuming some condition or something like that, but it's not good. Yeah, it's just I have nothing good to say, so I'm not gonna say much more. Alexander Hernandez versus Kurhalaba. I went with Hernandez. My read on the fight was pretty right. Whereas like I don't want to really trust Hernandez, but I think he can get takedowns. And like because of Kurhalaba not being able to get up, like in the Trey Ogden fight, I can see Hernandez do the exact same thing, and that's exactly what happened. Especially round 3, that round 1 went to Hernandez. I know he got dropped, but it was like it's one of those drops where it's like kind of off balance. He's probably fine in the guillotine, but it was at the end, and I thought Hernandez would have been gotten out. And all around 1 otherwise was all Hernandez. So I don't think it was like the worst decision. Although 30-27, Hernandez is kind of crazy. I don't know how you can give Hernandez round 2. So I feel bad for the spread bettors who was on Hollabah. But yeah, I thought Hernandez won. There's not much more to say there. And I talked about everything else. So perfect. Let's get into the UFC with, where is it? It's right here. Edwards Brady. Let's get into it. Guram Kutateladze versus Kawi Fernandez. I think Guram's gonna just run through him. Like I can see a finish with like a sub or KO, but I kind of think Guram's just gonna wrestle him and like not do much. Guram has a little bit of a problem of trying to how do you say this? Like, he fights closer than he really should be in some of these fights. Like, just a tendency he has, but it's just such a big levels difference. For me, Cali Fernandez, what he's shown in the UFC, I'm not impressed at all. Beating Muhammad Yahya. I honestly think Tony Ferguson could beat him. I wish the UFC kept Tony Ferguson to let him fight him, because he would have won. I'm like very convinced, because Ronnie Yahya is a literal, not Ronnie Yahya, excuse me, I'm mixing up my Yahya's. Ronnie Yahya is a bantamweight. Muhammad Yahya is a nothing. He's a nothing in the UFC. Tells me nothing. Good thing he got rid of him. Like, it would be bad if he didn't, but yeah, it was pretty one-sided. And losing to D1 Jacasey from wrestling had nothing to offer. And I think Guram can pretty much emulate that. Guram has work on the feet that he can absolutely implement. I worry about his chin a little bit, but I think he'll fight smart. And take down Cali Fernandez, maybe get a sub or some kind, but I think he's gonna roll here, if I'm being honest. Curiosity, I don't hate the spread on Guram because it's a more playable line, but it is a worry because of his chin. I think he's a parlay. You can parlay him though. And honestly, if you don't want to take the spread and think maybe he loses a round, live bet Guram. Guram as a live bet, I think like the Vucenic fight, where he got hurt early, but was able to maintain himself and get better as the fight goes. I think that's a very possible thing here, especially if Guram fights close. And then with the live bet, you can get a better number. So, yeah, give me Guram. I think he really should have an easy work, especially if he fights smart. If he fights smart, he'll wrestle him and get a win. Callie Loughran versus Nathan Fletcher. I think Callan Loughran's gonna win, to be honest with you, and I think Callan Loughran is awful. But I don't think Fletcher's awful, to be honest. I don't think he's bad. But I will tell you what, I think style-wise, it's a tough fight. I know they fought before on the regional scene, but I think they're completely different fighters now. I think Callan's game is going to be tough for Fletcher. Fletcher on the feet, I don't think is that good. Callan on the feet isn't that great either, but I think is better. And I think he's a very stocky guy. He's going to be hard to take down for Fletcher. Wait, why KO? Not KO. I want decision. What am I doing? I think he's going to be hard to take down with his stature, and he's gotten a lot better at that. And I think if Calvin keeps on the feet, it's going to be good work. Fletcher needs his fight on the ground, and even in that amateur fight at that point, when both aren't as good, Calvin was able to get reversals and stuff like that. I think he can do that here. I think he's still good enough to that. Excuse me. He's good enough to do that still at this point, even with Fletcher being better with top control. But I mean, it's tough. I bet Callan at a better number, like plus money, and that a parlay with Guram. So I could be like, it is what it is. I'll rely on Guram, but I think maybe this guy will win. I don't have much on that. I don't have enough trust in Callan Loughran to believe in him enough to put real money on this dude. I don't believe it, but I think it is a recency bias spot, and I think he's gonna win. I'm being honest. So yeah, give me Callan Loughran to win. I still think he's bad. He's Marvin Vittoria 135 in a division where they're a lot better than middleweight. So yeah, Shauna Bannon versus Pooja Tomar. I'm gonna go Tomar. Bannon. I had a pretty nice bet on Bannon against Alice Ardeline. When it was Alice Ardeline on short notice, I was talking about how Ardeline is not good, very bad, especially on short notice. She's not gonna be able to do what she does on short notice. She went life and death with Alice Ardeline on short notice. I can't pick you. I think anyone has a chance against you. And this Pooja's not that great either, but I would say that Dos Santos is, or why did I say Dos Santos? Excuse me, Reina Amanda. You could say it's a robbery. Honestly, I thought that was 30-27 either way. It was that close in the sense that no one made it close at all. Or not. What am I saying? Repeat what I said. I'm saying that fight was so close that every round you can give to Pooja or Amanda. It was literally 0 rounds were Clear. Clear is the word I'm looking for. And I was like, Amanda's better. She's a lot better. I get it, like, stylistically, that, like, Bannon, it's like, I think the length probably does help her here, and maybe there's some grappling success, but I don't even think the grappling is, man, no, 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 no. I don't think Bannon's grappling is good. I don't think Pooja's grappling is good either. I think it's going to be a stand-up fight. I think Pooja is going to be able to win off of maybe doing a Caitlin Chukagian or Seminar, whatever her name is. Sorry, Caitlin. Where it's just making noises wins her the fight. I think that's a very realistic possibility of why that could lead, like, give her the win. And to me, this is a 50-50 fight. And if it's a 50-50 fight like that, it had to be on the underdog. Yeah, I think Pooja's going to win. I'm not that confident. No. I don't know how anyone could be confident either side. I'll tell you what, I'm definitely not confident in any Shauna Bannon at the odds she's at. So, yeah. Give me Pooja Tomar to win. Andre Pulayev versus Christian Leroy Duncan. I think Christian Leroy Duncan's gonna win, and I've been hearing some podcasts this week of, like, some people talking, and I've been convinced. I'm gonna go Christian Leroy Duncan by submission. So shout out to Lucrative MMA and Pepe Sylvia. They kind of convinced me on it. I'll tell you why. So Pulayev, I don't think he's bad. I think he's all right, but I mean, this is the levels fight. Christian Leroy Duncan's just much better. But I think he is hard to hurt, Pulayev. And because of that, and he's good to the body, like, he could take shots to the body. And I think Christian Leroy Duncan, who's more willing to grapple, that we've seen training guys with like Leon and stuff like that. We're saying that, just a good thing to see. And he's going for more grappling, and he's going for, like, sub attempts. He's had some sub attempts before in the past. I think more so in the amateur scene rather than where he is now in, like, Cage Warriors. But he's gone for stuff like that before, and I think if Pulayev is tough to put away, opens up the sub opportunities, because Pulayev does give up his back, and I think it's a very real possibility that Christian Leroy Duncan gets a sub. And at the number it's at, I think it's worth a sprinkle. It's absolutely worth a sprinkle. I got plus 1,000. Very happy with that. I'm going to be very much hoping for Christian Leroy Duncan to be getting that for me. But I think another way to play it, minus 3.5 Christian Leroy Duncan. I think you'll be safe. I don't know. The only thing that would be the worry for me for that is the weight cut. It didn't look the best on the scales, but I think you should be fine with that. Christian Leroy Duncan, I like him to win, and I like the minus 3.5 spread because I don't see him really losing rounds. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Park, and I also think he does finish, but it gives more safety because he can decision people. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Park. This is a close one. I think Tybura is going to win a decision. I've not been impressed by Parkin's performances. I mean, it was on Bresky there, but I didn't put too much on Bresky against Parkin. I low-key thought Muhammad Usman won this fight. I'm going to be honest. It was close, though. I'm not going to act like it wasn't, but it's close against Muhammad Usman. Now you're fighting Marcin Tybura. Not great. Kyle Machado, really close. I was big on Parkin there. I had a lot of money on Parkin there, and Dude gave me the sweat of my lifetime. You can argue it either way as well on that one. Again, is Marcin Tybura now. I know Tybura is getting older. I'm very worried about that. But the more so the worry about me for Tybura is maybe his durability, but I don't really think Mick Parkin's got really crazy finishing ability. At least hasn't really shown on any of these fights besides the Bresky fight, but I don't think finishing Bresky is anything like groundbreaking. So I think Tybura is going to be good veteran, be able. I think he might have an advantage in the wrestling, and like that's the only real clear advantage either guy has in this fight. Otherwise, it's pretty close everywhere else, I think. So I think I'm going to go Tybura to be able to give Mick Parkin a veteran lesson via wrestling, and I think it goes long. I think he can probably. Actually, I don't hate the look of Tybura decision. Plus 120 Tybura is kind of crazy, actually. But Tybura decision plus 250. I don't hate that. I think Tybura just money line as well. That's fine too, especially at plus money. And you can't. I don't think you can go that wrong with it. Loner Kavanaugh, Felipe Dos Santos. This is a great fight. I'm gonna go Loner. I was on Ochoa last time with against Kavanaugh. Joe did pretty alright actually. For those odds he was at, I wasn't mad at making that bet. But I think here with Dos Santos, I think a little too hittable. I think the speed is gonna be a little bit too different. I know Dos Santos is also shoot the box guy, which Ochoa is as well. So maybe he can teach some things. I'm not really looking to really play Kavanaugh. I do think he's the real deal, Kavanaugh. And I did see that in the Ochoa fight, where it's like, okay, no, this dude's the real deal. I feel bad for Dos Santos. I don't know why they're giving him like really tough matchups. I know Ultra Morano wasn't that, although that was a that was maybe it should not have gone to hurt him, Felipe Dos Santos. But now Cap early, that was short notice, can be understandable. Andre Lima, that's just tough. And now Loner, it's tough. Yeah, I think he's just too hittable for his own good, and it's gonna be Kavanaugh wins. I think he wins a decision because I do think Dos Santos is tough. But yeah, I think Loner win. But at the same time, I don't hate anyone playing an under because Loner is going to be finding the shots and Dos Santos is kill or be killed kind of fight. That's how he fights. So I don't hate the look of an under. I'm not going to be trying to look for like some like I'm not going to be looking at it over like Kavanaugh decision, even though Kavanaugh decision is what I think happens. I just think there's too possible of a possibility of Kavanaugh just randomly finding the shot to put out Dos Santos. I know shoot the box guys are really tough to put out, but can happen anytime. So yeah, I'm going Loner Kavanaugh to win, but Dos Santos is pretty good. I don't hate to look at plus 3.5 on him, but I also don't hate to look at minus 3.5 Kavanaugh because I do think he's gonna win more rounds. So that's a tough one. It's a tough one for me to really call, like betting wise. Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla. This is a good fight. I'm gonna look at this actually. Dang it. Never mind. I was gonna look at if Jai Herbert was plus money, because if he was plus money, I was gonna bet that immediately. But he's not. So, but I'll explain that. I am gonna go Jai Herbert. I think he's gonna win a decision. But this is a kind of fight where I'm looking at Jai Herbert. I'm like, I get worried because I'm thinking there's a chance that the chin concerns can just happen again. It's very possible, and I don't want to be like part of that, especially not at evens or at minus money. At plus money, I'm willing to do it. And the reason why I'm liking the plus money on Jai Herbert, if it comes to that, live betting. Because if you can get Jai Herbert plus money, Jai Herbert's going to be winning the rounds. He's going to be winning rounds, and he's got the minute winning style. It's just Chris Padilla has the possibility of getting a finish. But you can arb out. You can arb out and again make money either way. As long as Jai Herbert doesn't just get KO'd like quickly. But I don't think he would, because his style doesn't really is like more defensive now. So I think that would be like actually like a really good arb opportunity for able to get Jai Herbert plus money and Chris Padilla live. I think that's the way to play this fight. But by breakdown the fight, I think it's just a levels difference in terms of like technicality. I think Herbert can keep himself defensively sound and not be like hurt bad by Padilla. I think Padilla might slow down here as the fight goes on and think that's going to open up Jai more. I think he's got the minute win equity, and I don't think he's going to get finished. But like I said, I don't want this is not the matchup I want to trust Jai for his durability. I don't trust his durability at all. I wouldn't be shocked if it gets tested here. So I get people being on Padilla plus money when it was there. I'd rather be on it live and see how the fight goes. Hoping for Jai Herbert plus money, and then I can bet like and then I can bet Padilla live at plus money too. Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Charrier. I'm going Morgan. I love this dude Morgan. I think he's going to get a finish in round 2. I think he's going to finish Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood's been asking to get finished, I feel like, in these past few. I was on Nathaniel Wood to beat Pineda. I was willing to eat that much chalk against Pineda with Nathaniel Wood. I was very confident in Nathaniel Wood. Oh my god. This dude gave me a legit heart attack in that fight. He gave me a heart attack in that fight. I can't do it. I can't do this guy. I can't do it with Nathaniel Wood at 145. I don't like him at this weight class. I think Charrier, a real 145er, has the real chance to really hurt Nathaniel Wood. And a bet I like on this fight. I think I'm probably gonna have to play the money line now. The lines come in. Um, inside the distance only Charrier. I love that. I don't think he gets getting finished by Nathaniel Wood. I think Nathaniel Wood, if he's gonna win, it's gonna be a decision. Morgan Charrier definitely has a chance to get a finish here. And I think I don't want to necessarily bet KO or sub because I think both are possible because I think a club and sub is very it's not out of the realm of possibility with Morgan. So yeah, I think finish inside the distance I really like because I think you'll be fine either way and you won't lose your money. I think I like Morgan money line as well. And if the line keeps coming in, a better number. Happy, very happy with that. But Morgan Charrier inside the distance only. I'm in on that for sure. Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. This is a good fight. I like Vucenic to win by submission round 2, but I will say this. I'm not ultra confident. I'd rather take an under 2.5 than I would Vucenic inside the distance is what I want to say. Duncan is killer be killed. Something he is pretty durable to be honest. I do like that he's at ATT training with really good guys to that weight class, so I think that's good. It's newer there. Going to be getting better, get good looks. I do rate Vucenic's performance against Guram on short notice. If that was short notice, can't be that mad for not having the same gas tank late and against a really good guy in Guram. But I do think Vucenic's the real deal. Won't be able to get a finish. I don't think this. I mean, Vucenic kind of goes life and death with dudes and gets a finish. That's kind of how he fights, and he's a fun fighter. I love him about it. But because of that, I kind of have to favor the under 2.5 as opposed to a specific person finishing. In my eyes, I just think that's a better look. And I'm willing to take that under shot, take a look at that, and hope for the best. I probably won't be going that crazy on this one. I'm not interested in putting that much on this fight. But yeah, I think Vucenic's gonna be able to find a finish as the fight goes on. And because again, Chris Duncan's killer be killed. I do think he's newer at ATT, so I'm not sure if he's gonna have all the new what do you call it? New learnings, be fully acquainted with ATT and get all that stuff. But I do think ATT is a good camp and you can make good improvements from it. So I'm not even I don't necessarily want to be on a Vucenic side. I want to be on an under side. Because I do think there's a chance maybe Chris Duncan can crack Vucenic. I think that's possible. It's possible Vucenic can crack Duncan. I think all those possibilities lead to an under. Molly McCann versus Alexia Thainara. Oh, man. This fight. I'll tell you what. From a betting perspective, live bet is the only way you can do this one. I am going to go Molly. But I tell you what, I'm not that confident. I'm not that confident at all. But I tell you what. If Thainara shows the same level of fight IQ as she showed in the Dana White Contender Series fight, I'd rather be on Molly than I would be on Thainara. I will say this, wouldn't be shocked if Thainara gets a quick sub on Molly. It's very, very possible. Thainara is an absolute beast. She's physical as all hell. And she could probably get easy takedowns on Molly. But man, I'll tell you what. If you see this girl Thainara take down Molly McCann, stand guard for a little bit, then just get back up and let Molly back up and then throw a hammer fist like she did in Dana White Contender, live bet Molly. I don't want to say better too much because of course she can be taken down again. But live bet Molly, the thing I worry about with Thainara is I think her fight IQ might be to her detriment. I think there's a very good, real possibility she gives Molly the fight that Molly wants. And she goes to war with Molly. And she's not going to cover her number if she does that. If she tries to wrestle Molly and does that, she's going to look $1 million. She's going to look $1 million. Although, again, there's a worry. Short notice, traveling across the world to London. That is a worry. But I think the only side you can really be on is Molly. But, again, I can't trust her. I can only trust her if I see enough things live. Live bet is the way to go for this fight. I don't want to have anything to do with Molly Pre. Maybe if I want to have something Molly Pre, it'd be very small. But yeah, I don't want anything part to do with that. I think under 2.5 is probably an all right look too. Because I think Molly has a chance to get a finish. She hits hard, goes especially at strawweight, and Dinar absolutely can get a sub. So, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if it goes over because it could just be just a flat out Molly McCann war. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest. So, if I had to lean value wise, I would go. I have to go the under, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if it goes to decision. I'm picking decisions. Yeah, that's about what I think. Kevin Holland versus Gunnar Nelson. I think Kevin Holland's gonna win this fight. I think he's gonna get a KO. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it goes long. I think there's a real possibility that it goes to decision. So I'm not crazy about necessarily just laying what you call it, Kevin Holland KO necessarily. Because I think a decision is possible. Although maybe KO decision, I think you'll probably be fine. That's just plus 135. Yeah, actually that's actually pretty all right. Because I know Kevin Holland has sub ability. I just don't think Gunner's going to be subbed. Although it's a possibility if he gets Cub and subbed, like maybe just quits because he's not really trying to take too much damage, right? I mean, that's a possibility. But plus 135 is better than money line at this point. I think that you're willing to take that risk. Like, okay, the sub possibility is probably not likely, but I don't think Kevin Holland's gonna be trying to get a sub on Gunner. But yeah, I think even if Kevin Holland does not care, even if he doesn't, I think physicality alone can win Kevin Holland the fight. And that's kind of what I put it down to. I think at 170, he's just gonna bonk him. And maybe not even necessarily bonk him. He's gonna keep his range, land good shots. I'm not crazy about Gunnar Nelson's style on the feet. I'm not crazy about his wrestling takedowns on the ground. His jiu-jitsu is amazing, but I think Kevin Holland's probably going to be able to survive the jiu-jitsu. Again, unless he just quits, which is a very real possibility. But I think coming down to 170, I think coming down to 170 is like the key thing. If he's coming down to the other thing was going over to London, making that trip over. I think that he's gonna care a little bit more this time than he does, and he needs to win every once in a while to stay in the UFC to make money. He needs to do that. So I'm gonna ride with Kevin Holland here. I've liked him more in this fight than I have in his past few. Like I was on Kevin Holland against RDR. I wasn't even like that crazy about it. I was on him on Roman Dolidze. I was more convinced in that fight than I was in the RDR fight. Got injured there. He was winning, but I mean, maybe not. I mean, my dislike towards Dolidze is ridiculous. I hope this is a complete tangent. Please make Dolidze versus Adesanya. Please, it's Adesanya will kill him. Adesanya will kill him. But besides the point. Kevin Holland, I think is gonna win via physicality. I think he's gonna win. Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. I'm gonna go Ulberg. I do think the age and the surgeries of Jan Blachowicz just it's not good. But I'm gonna go decision. I like fight goes to decision this fight. And actually, let me check the odds on that. I think this fight goes long. And I'll tell you exactly why. What's the odds on it? It's not great though. I will not lie. Minus 120. I might play it a little bit, but nothing crazy. I'll tell you why though, because Blachowicz is extremely good at fighting orthodox kickboxers, and I don't mean orthodox as in stance. I don't mean orthodox southpaw. I don't mean that. I mean orthodox as in the type of fighter who is going to like they're more traditional in style. Like the example of an opposite of that who'd be a nightmare matchup for Blachowicz is Yuri Prohaska. He does not fight traditional at all. He just does crazy stuff all the time. He would beat Blachowicz bad. But guys who have good, like very good, like you have someone look at their style and it's like this guy is extremely great technique. Blachowicz is really good against them. Like Adesanya against Magomed Ankalaev on the feet, looking good. Against some more guys I'm forgetting. Pereira on the feet it was not one-sided. That's just how Blachowicz is. the worry would definitely be him getting older and stuff like that. Maybe the chin's not as good. It is light heavyweight, so I'm willing to make like a little bit more of like it's not the end of the world, because light heavyweight you can be older and still perform all right. I do like Oldberg a lot. I think he's the real deal. I think it's going to be similar to the Vulcan fight, where it's going to be more competitive than what people are making out to be. I don't know how people are laying this chalk on Oldberg at all. I think it's kind of crazy. I like Oldberg a lot. I wouldn't be even. I might even pick him to beat Magomed Ankalaev or Pereira, and like whoever wins that rematch. I might very well be willing to do it. And it's like it's just how MMA is. Like watch him go to a close decision with Blachowicz, still win. Then he fights Magomed or Pereira, and then just KOs them. Like that's just how MMA is. Like that sounds like the most MMA thing ever. And you know what? I think that's gonna happen. I think he's gonna go to decision with Blachowicz. I think he's gonna win by being faster, being a nice kickboxer, and finding the best shots. And I think the youth will play a factor in winning the decision, because I think a younger Jan would win a fight like this. But I do think the youth is going to be enough to be able to win a decision. But it will be close. I do think it'll be close. So maybe you like Jan plus 3.5. I get it. I don't want to touch it. Like I said, I'd rather be on the overs than anything, any side. Maybe actually, what is Oldberg's decision? Out of curiosity. It might be all right odds. Plus 155. It's not bad actually. That's okay. But again, if it goes long, I don't even like. Jan could win. So yeah, overs. Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. This fight, man. I mean, I definitely have a side, but I'm worried about one aspect. I'm on Leon. I think he's gonna win. I'm already heavily invested. I'm already heavily invested in Leon, but I am worried about the staph infection or whatever. But I will say this: I looked into it some more, and I used the power of AI to tell me, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I don't think these people on YouTube are a doctor either. So yeah, the thing about Leon's staph or whatever, he did say it was 6 weeks ago. I hope the guy that's true, because I think if that is true, I think he's gonna be fine, because what that means is he's had the time to be on the antibiotics and been off the antibiotic, and if he's off the antibiotics for a while, there's not going to be any effect on the performance. But I do think, and I did see it in a YouTube video that Leon had. What was it, like a few days ago? It was like 9 or 10 days ago now. His staph healed a lot better, like a lot. So those pictures that have been circulating around with, like, was it Leon in a blue shirt or whatever, and you can see like really clear staph in his arm. That's pretty old. I think that was pretty old. And that gives me hope, because like if there's no staph problems, I love Leon here a lot, and I'll explain why. And when I was talking about the AI, I asked it about Perplexity, and I asked Claude AI, mostly Perplexity, because Perplexity gets sources from, like, it can get medical journals and stuff like that to validate stuff like that, which is why I trust it more than I do like other just random AI stuff. And I attached a picture of Leon Edwards. He's fighting on this day, performance, like how will this affect the performance, what Leon has said, and then I not include what Leon said. Maybe he's just lying, who knows. According to it, Leon should be fine, but I even with that, I am worried, and I think if Leon loses this fight, I'm gonna blame it on staph. But I will say this though, I love Leon here, and let's get into the fight talk. Why do I like Leon to win this fight? Sean Brady's never really fought like a sniper before. He really hasn't, except, I mean, the closest thing is like Nardiev, maybe. He's not really done well against, like, on the feet. He's not really necessarily done the best against guys. I mean, Michael Chiesa, after Brady gassed, after his nose got broken, just was getting put on. If Michael Chiesa can break your nose, Leon Edwards sure can. He sure can. I worry about the Sean Brady's gas tank on short notice coming in. And the clinch. Leon's gonna kill him in the clinch. Leon Edwards has the best clinch game at 170. If you look at that Gilbert Burns fight with Sean Brady won. I thought he won pretty clear. It's like 4-1, 5-0, pretty clearly. Burns had moments, and he had some moments in the clinch. And Burns isn't necessarily known to be like a clinch fighter, to be honest. Not he's bad in the clinch, but I don't think he's necessarily anything spectacular. Brady's going to be the better one in the clinch. Leon Edwards' techniques in this clinch are about as good as it gets in MMA, to be honest. It's him, Islam, I think. Off the top of my head, maybe I'm forgetting some, but those two off the top of my head, some of the best clinch games in MMA. I think like Leon's gonna smash him in the clinch. Those knees in the clinch to the body is gonna drain Brady. I think knees to the head are very live. Elbows in the clinch. Leon Edwards always separates in the clinch with elbows and stuff like that. It's a thing of beauty. Such a tactical striker. I love Leon Edwards' ability to attack everywhere. Attack the legs, attack the body, attack the head. He doesn't separate. He doesn't discriminate, I should say. He targets everywhere, and it's gonna make you hurt. Unlike the Bilal fight, I know people are like, "Oh, Bilal fight happened. Brady's gonna do what Bilal did." It's not the same. It's not the same. I don't think Brady has the same boxing, and I stand on this. If Bilal didn't have the boxing he did and landed what he did on Leon, he doesn't win that fight. Why does he not win against Leon that night? If he doesn't have the boxing he doesn't open up the wrestling and takedowns. It doesn't. Because he would be more ready, even at his like 5 a.m. state or whatever. He'd be able to stop the takedowns and be able to do good work. And even then, it was a really close fight. But props to Bilal, the boxing was on point and it was landing big on Leon. Leon had to respect it to the point where he couldn't get the wrestling. He couldn't get the wrestling ready, the takedown defense ready. It's not going to be true here with Brady. He leaves when he's throwing. It's like his combos where he's just going all that crazy stuff, like uppercut, just a bunch of stuff out all at once. He leaves his defense pretty open. He's there to be hit, Sean Brady, and a guy like Leon can absolutely punish him for that. He doesn't have the same speed and the same accuracy as Bilal either. So I think Leon had a fighting at a better time, and I'll get to that. So I do think that's a horrible excuse by Leon, but I'll get into that, why I do think that matters. It's just not going to be there as much for Brady, and when you have to rely as much on the clinch as Brady does against a guy like Leon, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough, I think. And I think Leon's arsenal on the feet is just a thing of beauty. Good cardio as well for Leon Edwards. And again, the staff is the worry. That's like, if he has staff, I'm extremely worried. And I'm not crazy about Brady's wrestling. I don't think his wrestling is all that amazing. What I will say, what he's better than Bilal at, he's better at top control. Like his ground game is a thing of beauty, Sean Brady. His jiu-jitsu, I am very worried if we do get to that point, if we get on the mat. I don't think Leon Edwards will get subbed. I think he'll be able to keep himself safe. I think he'll find a way to get up because Bilal is more like trying to hold on for dear life, but like Sean Brady will go for subs, and because of the fact that he will go for subs, he's gonna leave openings to get up for Leon Edwards. I know people are gonna be like, oh, but he beat Craig Jones or whatever. And it's like he kind of laid on Craig Jones, and no leg locks were available. It just doesn't tell me anything crazy. He just kind of laid on him in full guard. Doesn't mean he's not a great grappler. He's a fantastic grappler. But I think Leon Edwards is the most underrated grappler wrestler in the division. Who has taken down Bilal Muhammad and controlled him in the UFC? No one but Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards is able to do that in round 3 of that fight. No one else is being able to do that. Leon Edwards is so underrated in that aspect, and he's been training for wrestlers over and over and over again for the past however many years now. And even like, oh, he was planning on fighting JDM. He was not going to wrestle. Like he was not training for wrestling. He was going to be wrestling in that fight. He was definitely going to wrestle JDM in that fight. He's going to mix up the martial arts. So yeah, I think Leon's going to make a statement here. I think He can hurt Sean Brady. I think he packs a punch. He can land big. I think he can absolutely KO Sean Brady and get a TKO. Especially if Brady wilts. If he shows any signs of wilting, it's going to be tough for him. It's going to be really bad. I do think Brady's a momentum-based fighter. If he loses momentum at one point, I think that could be a downfall for him, and he maybe even like a late finish like Leon, like how he had Belal late in that fight where he's landing elbows, big shots. If he had more time, maybe he gets a finish. Although I'm not necessarily sure because like Leon was trying to make sure he was down, and then when he heard the ticker, he started going. I'm not necessarily sure that would have happened, but besides the point, Leon's really good. I think this is a y'all must have forgot kind of fight. At these odds, I have to take it. At the staff, though, I'm worried. I don't think Leon's a bad live bet either. Especially if Brady gets a takedown, I don't think Leon's a bad live bet. I think you can get in on Leon live and hope for the best. Hope for the best, and it'll be much better odds. But I think, especially as the fight goes on, if the staff isn't a factor, Leon's going to be taking over. Leon's going to be taking over. He's really good at hometown cooking. Gotta trust that. Yeah, I think Leon. I really do believe in Leon Edwards. I think he's one of the greatest welterweights of all time, and I think his ability is through the roof. I think he's going to try and find a way to fight for the title again. Give me Leon Edwards. I think the clinch game is going to be really key for Leon to have success there and win, and turn the clinch around on Brady. Not fall for Brady's thing where he does his takedown where he just picks you up, lifts you up, and puts you down. That's like I am worried about that, but I think Leon Edwards, man, I think he's that dude. So let's recap everything. I'm going to talk about my favorite 6 strikes and more takedown bets. Guram versus Cal Fernandez. More takedowns, Guram. More 6 strikes. I don't really want anything part of that, but probably Guram, but I wouldn't want anything part of that. Callan Loughran, Fletcher. Callan Loughran, more 6 strikes. I actually like that a lot, to be honest. And more takedowns. I mean, Fletcher's probably going to be one going for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets reversed, so pass for me on that one. Sean O'Bannon, Pooja Tomar. No, I don't want any part of this. Maybe Sean O'Bannon, more takedowns, but I don't want any part of that. I don't think she even goes for one. Pulayev, Christian Leroy Duncan. I think Leroy Duncan, more 6 strikes, more takedowns. Probably going to be pretty good. Tybura Parkin. I don't want anything to do with the 6 strikes. More takedowns, probably Tybura. Kavanaugh, Dos Santos. Eileen not Dos Santos. I mean Kavanaugh, more 6 strikes and more takedowns. But I'm not crazy about it, especially with Dos Santos. He's always going to be in your face. He's going to be trying to land more, but he's going to be landed on. So that's why I have to leave him Kavanaugh. I do think he's live to get takedowns as well. Jai Herbert, Padilla. I think Herbert will get more 6 strikes. I think he's going to be, he's going to be the better minute winner. So I think that's part of it. Why more takedowns? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Wood Charrier. That's an interesting one because I could see it go either way. I lean Charrier, but with 6 strikes, but he's not necessarily the biggest volume guy, to be honest. So, now I'm not crazy about that. More takedowns, I'm not crazy about it either for this one. Vucenic Duncan, I think Vucenic's probably more likely to go for takedowns, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to trust it. I don't want to trust either of these guys with that. Probably more 6 strikes, Vucenic, though. Vucenic. Thainara McCann. Thainara, more takedowns for sure. Yeah. Then more 6 strikes. I probably lean Molly though. I'm willing to lean Molly there. Kevin Holland, Nelson more takedowns. He's gonna be the only one going for any. Then more 6 strikes. It could go either way, to be honest, but I would lean Holland. But I'm not that confident in that. Jan Blachowicz, Carlos Ulberg. I lean Ulberg to land more 6 strikes and more takedowns. Blachowicz is the only one who's probably gonna be going for any takedowns, but I don't even think he's going to be going for any. So pass for me on there, unless you're pretty easy takedowns to get. And Leon Edwards, Sean Brady. I mean, more takedowns. It's kind of risky. It probably Brady because he's going to be the one mainly going for takedowns. This is win condition, but Leon is willing to go for them sometimes. So I'd have to lean Brady, but I was like, I'm a little wary of it, and I'm also a little wary about the 6 strikes because I do think Leon Edwards is going to land a good amount of 6 strikes, but I also think that how Brady throws a combination stuff like that, I'm not sure how they're going to count it with the 6 strike stuff. So yeah, you just know that when you're seeing the UFC live broadcast, when they're counting, they're definitely always wrong. Like in round 2 of like Brady Burns fight, I think it was round 2. They had Brady had 130 significant strikes, and then when you look at UFC like stats, you see his like total strikes he landed, 6 strikes, 130. So like they literally lie. They're literally, do not trust those numbers. The numbers are always wrong. They gave me a heart attack with Danny Silva versus Lucas Almeida. I had a big bet on Danny Silva more 6 strikes, and it made it seem like Lucas Almeida had more significant strikes. That wasn't true at all. It was Danny Silva. But I do think Leon Edwards' defensive capabilities will help with significant strikes, and I think Brady's not so good defense will help with Leon Edwards getting more significant strikes. It really does depend on the number. If Leon Edwards is plus money or evens, I'm willing to take a small shot on it. But yeah, that's what I think. Thank you so much for watching. Very excited for this card. And yeah, you want to check me out? Check me out on BetMe.Tips, Champ Bets. And you can also check me out here on YouTube. And yeah, very excited. Next week, we got Steve Burseg versus Brandon Moreno in Mexico. We will be there. That's gonna be a great one. There's a bet I really like on that card. We will absolutely get into that. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great one.